Okay. I think we got streaming on.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome friends to the Interfaith Prayer and Discussion number 223. The agenda is on the screen. I've allocated the readings. We have a video prayer in chanting, and then we have 7 readings. Then we have honoring of indigenous people on the land, and then they have well, I introduce the speaker and we talk about the talk, and then questions and answers discussion. So Colin, can you go to slide 1?
Yes, but before that, do we have the...
No, the one that with Shadi's picture on, sorry.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. So the theme of the prayer is our creation, and the topic of Shadi is finding our inner joy and interfaith perspective. So we're gonna start with the music and chanting first, and then acknowledge, and then I reintroduce Shadi again.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt, but normally we have the acknowledgement right at the beginning.
Oh, do you? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe Shadi should do that first. Yeah.
Yes. I would like to acknowledge the Wangal people of the Eora Nation, who are the traditional custodians of the land from which I am speaking with you today. And I would like to honor their elders, past and present, and also to acknowledge and extend that respect to any Indigenous friends who are with us today. I had a wonderful opportunity to view an exhibition yesterday of Indigenous art at the House of Worship, and it paid testament to the profound wisdom, creativity, and spirituality of Indigenous peoples. If you live in Australia, I highly encourage you to go and view that exhibition. And it really brought home for me the amazing strength and continuity of the Indigenous culture of the Indigenous peoples of Australia.
I know that one day soon a song shall rise. You'll hear it with the sleep still in your eyes. You'll wake into a brand new day. Can you hear bells ringing, voices singing far away? A time when every man will be as one. A time to reach right out and touch the sun. Come the day. Freedom's still a thought within your mind. A fleeting thing that some may never find. It may be still a million miles away. Can you hear bells ringing, voices singing far away? A time to live without doubt or fear. Welcome to the happy world that will be here. Come the day. The trumpets of war will cease to blow. A sound I hope that we may never know. We're waiting for the day. Can you hear
Do I stop?
Yeah, شکوفا خانم.
Both of moving and unmoving things material nature brings to birth, while I look on and supervise. This is the cause and this the means. This the means by which the world revolves. For that a human form I have assumed, fools scorn me, knowing nothing of my higher nature. Great Lord of all, contingent begins. Contingent beings, Hindu writings.
I shall verily approach and succeed in seeing thee, O Mazda Ahura, Lord of wisdom and creator of life. Through pure mind and enlightened heart, O Creator, do grant me in both worlds, corporal as well as spiritual, the recompense which can be achieved only through truthfulness and will make happy the faithful ones. Zoroastrian writings, Gathasa, Yasna, 28 verses 2.
And as all things originate from one essence, so they are developing according to one law, and they are destined to one aim, which is nirvana. Buddhist writings, the Dhammapada. And the Buddha said, the Tathagata sees the universe face to face and understands its nature. He proclaims the truth both in its letter and in its spirit, and his doctrine is glorious in its origin, glorious in its progress, glorious in its consummation. Buddhist scriptures.
When I behold thy heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars, which thou hast established, what is man that thou art mindful of him, and the Son of Man that thou thinkest of him, that thou hast crowned him with glory and honor, thou hast made him but little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honor. Jewish writings, Psalm 84:10.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of man. Christian writings.
It is God who hath given you the earth as a sure foundation, and over it built up the heaven, and formed you, and made your forms beautiful, and feedeth you with good things. This is God your Lord. Blessed then be God, the Lord of the worlds. Islamic writings. No defect canst thou see in the creation of the God of mercy. Repeat the gaze. Seest thou a single flaw? Islamic writings.
You're muted.
All praise to the unity of God upon the inmost reality of each and every created thing. He hath shed the light of one of his names, and made it a recipient of the glory of one of his attributes. Upon the reality of man, however, he hath focused the radiance of all of his names and attributes, and made it a mirror of his own self. Baha'u'llah.
Joy, 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 joy is in the air. Love, 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 love is everywhere. Listen, listen, all created things. Listen, listen, all created things. Joy, 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 joy is in the air. Joy, 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 joy is everywhere. Listen, listen, 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 all created things. Listen, listen, all created things.
Okay, thank you, Colin, for generating those slides of those devotional prayers, and thank you for the readers that have read those beautiful prayers. Now, I'd like to introduce our speaker tonight, and Shadi is our speaker tonight, and she's going to talk about finding our inner joy and interfaith perspective. Shadi, I've known her for a long time. She's a very active Baha'i, and she's an artist, paints beautiful paintings, and she lives actually in Vasanta's community. So there are and Shukufa is her mother, which have joined us. Here we go. Shadi, it's onto you now.
Thank you very much for that warm and kind introduction, dear Ahmad. I want to start off by asking you each a question. And the answer is quite obvious, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Would you like to be happy? Truly happy, from the bottom of your heart happy? Not just a momentary fleeting happiness, but a deep and profound sense of peace and joy. In our busy and sometimes chaotic and noise-filled world with distractions, achieving true joy and true happiness can seem elusive or difficult. But what if joy is not something that we have to chase? What if joy is already within us, waiting to be discovered? So, on this theme of joy, it's something that I've been thinking about for a long time. And I've been studying the writings of the world's sacred scriptures. And I discovered something really beautiful. And that is, if you step back and objectively view the sacred writings of all the world's different scriptures, they offer the same pathways to joy. they all assure us that true joy, true inner happiness is achievable. And so today, I'd like to share with you 3 key spiritual shortcuts or hacks that are mentioned in all of the world's great spiritual traditions that can lead us on this pathway to discovering our inner joy, the joy that already exists within us, and we are unleashing it. So I'm going to share with you a PowerPoint presentation, and there is time at the end of the presentation for your questions and comments and for discussion. And I want you to think about now, while we're going through the presentation, a time in your life when you've experienced sheer joy, profound joy, that's stuck in your memory to this day. And then if you feel comfortable, we can share in it and we can see the commonalities in our experiences as human beings from different backgrounds and living all around the world, different ages. Let's see if there's any commonality in our experiences of joy. So I'll begin sharing my screen now. And please let me know when you are able to see my screen.
Yep, it's there.
You can see it. Thank you very much. So this presentation is going to look at my understanding of an interfaith perspective on joy and how to find our inner joy. If you are very familiar with a particular religious tradition and you'd like to share your understandings, please feel free to share that. I'd love to hear your perspectives, and the more perspectives, the better. I'm going to start with a quote from the Baha'i writings about why joy is important, not just for ourselves, not just for selfish purposes, but because our joy has an ability to radiate to those around us and to uplift everyone who comes in contact with us. I want you to be happy. I want you to be happy, to laugh, smile, and rejoice in order that others may be made happy by you. If we see someone smile, if we hear someone laugh, the human spirit is uplifted and joy is infectious. So let's begin our journey of looking at how we can find our pathway to joy. And across the world's major faiths and spiritual traditions, we see that service, prayer and meditation, and detachment are mentioned again and again as key pathways to joy. So if you're engaging in service to humanity, if you're connecting with spirit, and if you are detached from material things or the outcomes of things that are going on in your life, you can experience a state of profound joy. But first of all, let's think about what joy means. And when I say joy, I'm not talking about the transitory joy that comes from a good meal or the transitory joy that comes from buying something. That can provide momentary happiness, but a true and lasting happiness that comes from deep within, that's what we want to examine here today. And to my understanding, inner joy is a state of spiritual well-being. And it's not dependent on how much money we have, on external possessions, or even our circumstances. Now, we've all met throughout our life people who, living in poverty or in difficult circumstances, nevertheless had a smile on their face and they radiated contentment and joy. And all the major world religions teach us that joy arises when we align our lives with our divine purpose. Indigenous spiritual belief systems also speak of pathways such as service to community and connection with spirit, and detachment from concepts of ownership as leading to fulfillment. So this presentation is going to explore these three universally recognized pathways to true inner joy: service, prayer, and detachment. I'm going to share with you another quote from the Baha'i writings from Abdu'l-Baha. And if you know anything about Abdu'l-Baha, who was called the master by many people who knew him, he lived a very difficult life from the time that he was a boy up until the time of his passing. He didn't have it easy. And yet he radiated at all times contentment and joy. And he shared this beautiful, profound concept of what true happiness means. And this is someone who was imprisoned, who you know, his father was imprisoned and tortured and exiled. His whole family went overnight from being quite a wealthy and comfortable lifestyle to one of true poverty and suffering. And yet, despite this, he managed to live a life of true happiness. And he shares with us that true happiness depends on spiritual good and having the heart ever open to receive the divine bounty. And Abdu'l-Baha lived a life of service. So service is a spiritual shortcut to inner joy. Helping others helps us feel better about ourselves and is a source of true joy. I'm going to read for you a few quotations from the world scriptures. And I want you to see the commonalities, that the themes that are shining through these gems of wisdom from these great teachers. Baha'u'llah shares with us that to serve humanity is to serve God. So when we cook a meal for someone who is not feeling well, or if we look after children, or whatever it is that we do, if we offer some service at a soup kitchen and make meals for people who are hungry, look after the elderly, any kind of service to humanity that we do in the fullness of our heart is actually serving God. This is a beautiful image from Lord Buddha. Thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle. Happiness never decreases by being shared. What a beautiful, profound concept. So that a single candle ablaze with the love of God and ablaze with the joy that comes from service can light thousands of different candles. And then each one of those other candles can light another 1,000 candles. So thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle. Happiness never decreases by being shared. From the Bhagavad Gita, we have the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, from the Christian scripture. So this concept of service. From the Talmud, we have the highest form of wisdom is kindness. And from the Islamic hadith, the Islamic traditions, the best of people are those that bring most benefit to the rest of the world. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he's not saying that the best of people are the wealthiest, or the best of people are the most intelligent, or the best of people are the best looking or the most talented. No, the best of people are those that bring most benefit to the rest of mankind. Another common theme, another shortcut to true joy and lasting happiness, and a source of profound inner joy that you have experienced in your life, and I certainly have experienced the beauty and the peace and the contentment and the joy that arises from meditation and prayer. These things can be a source of profound inner joy. And we're going to look at what the various spiritual traditions say about joy through prayer and meditation. Prayer is a conversation with God and a source of comfort. So that word comfort is such a beautiful word. I love the concept that it conveys, that when life is difficult and we're feeling sad, and it happens to everyone throughout our lives, we can find a source of comfort through a conversation with God. Lord Buddha shares that peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. The Bhagavad Gita talks about meditation. Meditation brings wisdom. Choose the path that leads to wisdom. From the Psalms, we have served the Lord with gladness, come before his presence with singing. And what a beautiful way to combine two different sources of joy, music and prayer and meditation, the praise of God. I find that when we chant or sing sacred verses, the effect, the joy is amplified, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. And the Quran, indeed, prayer prohibits immorality. The remembrance of Allah is greater. So prayer is not just a source of peace and joy, but it can keep us on the straight path and keep us moving in a direction that's conducive with our spiritual health, our mental health, our emotional health, leading to profound joy. Now, the first two shortcuts or hacks to profound inner joy, you would have thought are obvious. Service to humanity and prayer and meditation are very common practices that we are all probably engaging in our lives in some form. But the last one, the last source of profound inner joy, may not seem so obvious. And I'd love to share my thoughts with you on this. Again, another theme running through the world's spiritual traditions and faiths as to how to achieve inner joy is detachment. Cultivating joy by letting go of desire. The phrase, I want, an attachment to things, to people, to concepts, to ways of doing things, can be a source of profound sadness in our life. But the opposite, the spiritual principle of detachment, can solve many of the world's problems and also enhance our sense of contentment, peace, and joy. Now, what does detachment mean? We have some beautiful writings, each of them illuminating a different aspect of detachment as a source of joy. The first one I'll start off with is the quote from Lord Buddha because it really illuminates how much our sadness and suffering is self-inflicted. The root of suffering is attachment. The root of suffering is attachment. If you kill a plant at the root, it won't grow again. If you want to remove suffering, whether it's personal suffering or societal suffering, the root of suffering is attachment. We can see how that plays out on so many levels, at the micro level, the macro level. So many things are coming, negative things are coming from attachment. Now, we'll go back to the quote beforehand. The essence of detachment is for man to turn his face towards the realms above. My interpretation of this is that true detachment is orienting ourselves towards spirit, turning our faces towards the realms above, and really letting go of focus on the things of the material world. The essence of detachment is for man to turn his face towards the realm above. And this theme of detachment as a source of joy is continued, we can see, in the Jewish scripture, in the Hindu scripture, in the Christian scripture, and Islamic scripture. Now, this is a concept that took me a long time to grasp when I was studying the Bhagavad Gita, but it really profoundly changed my thoughts and approaches to life. You have the right to perform your duties, but not the fruits of your actions. You have the right to perform your duties, but not the fruits of your actions. This is talking about when we are engaging in service, for example, when we do something pure-heartedly for the sake of God or for the sake of humanity, we're not attached to the outcome of what happens when we perform that service. So we may educate a child, we may offer a gift to someone, we may speak to someone about spirituality, but then we're detached from the outcome. That person needs to undertake their own journey. And we are not going to be attached to what happens next once we've offered our service or performed a good deed. And it really means that we're not doing it for the sake of people knowing that we are good. That's an attachment to a name or an attribute. We are doing things purely for the sake of God or for the sake of serving humanity, which, as Baha'u'llah mentioned, is the same thing. To serve humanity is to serve God. Now, this is another aspect of detachment from wealth and material things. I know many people on this call today do volunteer work in the community. And even this evening, this forum is a volunteer activity run by the friends on this call today. They could be spending that time earning lots of money and counting up how much money they have, but that's not the mind space that they're in. And we can see the world's spiritual traditions also talk about detachment from material things as a major source of joy. Who is rich? He who is happy with his lot. And do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth. Wealth does not come from great riches, but from contentment of the soul. So we can see here this element of detachment from the things of the world. And what is meant by the things of the world? Basically, anything that is not of God, is not of the soul, is not of the spirit. The essence of detachment is for man to turn his face toward the realms above. The common threads that I was able to identify between these different faiths is that service transforms the soul. Prayer and meditation connects us to the divine or to the highest part of ourselves, our spirit, our soul. And detachment frees us from illusion. So in light of these writings, we can see that joy is not found in having more. We've seen in the news wealthy people, very famous people who to outward seeming should be very contented and happy with their lives, not being particularly happy and contented. So again, we see that joy is not found in having more, but in recognizing the interconnectedness of all things and in being content with what we have. So I have a question for you, and I want you to think about that. And also the first question that I asked about the time that you've been very happy, when you felt joy in your life. Which practice out of these three spiritual shortcuts to inner joy, service, prayer and meditation, or detachment, which practice has brought you the most joy? Service, prayer, or letting go of desire? And how might you bring more of it into your life today? And I have a closing quote as well to reflect on what happens when we experience joy. Joy gives us wings. In times of joy, our strength is more vital, our intellect keener, and our understanding less clouded. May we each walk the path of service, prayer, and detachment. And may we find joy not in things, but in God and in one another. Thank you, dear friends. I now invite everyone to offer their reflections and their responses. Yes, please go ahead. I see a hand raised.
Hello, how are you, Shady?
I'm very well. It's so lovely to see you again. How are you? I'm feeling, actually, at the beginning, they asked me how I was, and I said, I'm feeling a lot of joy because I was at the house of worship for the past 2 days, the Baha'i House of Worship, which is open to everyone of all backgrounds and faiths in Sydney. And I was praying and I was meditating. I was spending time with spiritual people, and we were serving humanity together. And I was detached from all material things. So all the triple combo of joyful things in my life all came together for the past few days. Thank you for asking how I am.
Oh, I heard the arts exhibition that you've been talking about.
Oh, yes.
It's supposed to be popular, but
Yes.
unless people around our circle, then I know. But like people like us, we are Catholic, we knew nothing about your work. We know nothing about yourself. And so I thought it was like a waste of talent and names. So it should be, you should have to do it somehow that your work spread to more people. And because you see, unless we are in a circle, then we know, but otherwise nobody told us anything. To talk about detachment, I saw the contradiction in the notion of detachment First
Yes.
of all, the best of people, as you read, are those that bring most benefits to mankind.
Yes.
So that was one of the things that
Mhm.
normally when somebody asks for a scholarship, the manager will ask, if you want that so much money for your study, the scholarship, what benefit that you think you're gonna create for
Mhm.
people? So therefore, the student, the candidates, had to say, okay, if I complete how many years of study and how much money I get from a scholarship, the
Yes.
benefits I bring to mankind will be such, such, such. So you got to have a list before you go for an interview. And then that contradicts with detachment, because when you bring benefits to people, obviously, community, family, nation, states, federal, everybody. And now here's another notion of detachment. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yes,
If
it is.
you can,
It's
if
difficult. I
anyone,
thought out of the three, thank you for your question. Out of the three, I thought detachment is one of the most difficult to grasp. But when we read Lord Buddha's teachings, if you think of the opposite of detachment, if you think of attachment, when people are very attached to one particular outcome,
okay, now
think of
if the
particular,
normal people they are attached to your drawing, okay, they said, oh, this is a beautiful drawing. How much you're gonna sell it for? And they say if you have some millionaires among the crowd, well, the means are millionaires because they haven't been informed about your work.
Mhm.
So I said, just like one painting, I can say $500,000 will sell to me. Okay, so they'll miss the opportunity. It's not about attach or detach or whatever, detachment, but so many opportunities that a person can miss out.
Thank you for raising this question. I wanted to share one more quote on detachment, and then I'll have to take the next question. But I wanted to share a quote from Abdul Baha on the nature of detachment. He says, detachment does not mean setting fire to your house. It doesn't mean, and I'm paraphrasing the next part, but it doesn't mean that you have to throw out all your belongings in the street or not earn any money or sell, your art or whatever it is, however it is that you make money. Detachment does not mean living like a monk. In this day and age, what detachment means is that you love your brother like yourself. And if possible, you even put your brother or your sister ahead of yourself. And you try your best to serve humanity in a kind and loving way. Thank you so much for your question. I'm going to take the next hand that was raised. Please go ahead. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Uaitiliti. Please go ahead.
Yeah, same question with the one she mentioned. Yeah, I'm just curious about the word attachment.
Yes. What does it mean to you? What do you
I
think?
mean, it means to me just means that all your service. That means you count your service just like you attach. That means you do your AY, and then you attach my service. That means you attach with a goal, or you do your study circle.
Yes.
That thing is my goal. That means that me is my goal. That means you attach to your goal. Sorry. That
Yeah,
yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Yes,
Yeah.
can be even
Yeah.
we can even become attached to good things. We can become attached to people as well. It's such a I see all the hands going up. I knew that this point would generate the most discussion. I'd love to hear what you all think about this. It's so interesting though that all the world's religions talk about detachment and how it might impact our well-being, our spiritual well-being, and even our mental health and our levels of joy. I'm going to take Tracy and then Ahmed and then Tekno.
Yeah, sorry. And one more,
Yes, go ahead.
one word, I just always just in my mind as service is also prayer.
Yes,
That the
service
one
is also
I
prayer.
always use in
Yes,
my mind.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Work is worship.
that means
Work
it
is worship.
didn't get.
Can you repeat that, please?
Pardon?
Can you repeat what you just said? I really loved what you said. Service is also prayer. Yes, there is this concept of work as worship as well that I wanted to discuss. Do you
Yeah,
want to expand on that very
yeah,
briefly?
yeah. That means service is also prayer. That means you didn't attach with your service. That means you do your
Yes,
service, and you do your service just like when you do your service. That means you pray in that time.
yes, yes, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. Tracy, go ahead. Please share your thoughts with us.
Well, I've sort of this phrase of give and forget.
Oh, yes. Give and forget. Yes. Instead of forgive and forget, give. Give to others and forget about it. Yes, that's
Yes.
exactly the concept that you summarize the Bhagavad Gita in 3 words. Wonderful. Please share some more. If you'd like to share a time in your life that you experienced profound joy, we'd love to hear that as well.
Well, I've got sort of, I suppose, the birth of your birth of your children
Yes.
is an incredible moment.
Yes.
You just sort of, you've been kicking away inside of you, and you suddenly get to meet.
Oh, yes.
It's sort of, it's in another realm.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's only half of, well, not even half of humanity gets to experience, but it is an incredible, it's a complete vortex into another realm of joy.
Yes.
Anyway, but even just sort of going when you're in nature, or
Yes.
when you're can just sort of feel acknowledging that connection with everyone.
Yes.
And that God, that universal one breath, that connection is there. And that, everybody's got troubles in their life.
Yes,
No
absolutely.
one that doesn't have challenges.
Yes.
But that they are not the defining feature. It's that, it's to sort of surrender and trust and look for the presence of God and that unity sort of connection underneath, and sit there, and from there look at the problem, or is this some time of refinement or whatever.
Yes.
Then we can sort of stay, and you look at the trees.
Oh, yes.
They get the wind, they get the rain, the birds get the wind, but they are just being themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
They just recognize that there's something bigger than me going on, and they just participate, and they're happy with no expectations.
Yes.
No attachment.
Expectations. Yes.
Expectation. You have an expectation. That's two people can have the same experience, but one has a list of expectations that are not met, so they're not happy. Another person has no expectations, and then, oh, isn't this wonderful?
Yes. Yes.
So anyway.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for that profound sharing. I feel very uplifted by your sharing. Thank you so much, dear Tracy. Dear Ahmed, and then Tekno, please.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment about detachment. Baha'u'llah says that if you are able to drink from a golden cup, you are in the sight of God, it's okay. You can drink from a golden cup. But if you're not able to share that golden cup with others, or if you lose that golden cup and you are hurt heavily, then in the sight of God, you're detached to that golden calf.
You are attached, yes.
Not attached, sorry, not detached.
Yes.
Attached to that
Yes.
golden calf. So from all stuffs that we have, all material stuffs that we have, if we lose them or we cannot share them,
Oh, it's a tragedy, isn't
then
it?
we are attached to those things, those objects.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. That was a really good definition. And thank you for sharing that beautiful concept by Bahola that it's okay to have wealth, but
Yeah.
if you not willing to share your wealth with others, and also if you lose your wealth, you are devastated and it's, you know, life is over, then you need to start looking at being more detached. And it's a process, isn't it? It's not, it's one of those things where there's shades of gray and we're all on a journey.
And we
Yes,
know that everything that we have, one day is ours, the other day is not.
that's right.
It will not be ours.
Yes.
And we pass, they all go to others.
Yes, absolutely. And I have in my life, and also my dear mother, maybe she'll share this experience, this concept of today it's yours, tomorrow it belongs to others. This has played out so many times in my life, and I'm already fully aware of it. I don't think that it's for when we die, today it's us, tomorrow it's others. It's actually through our life. Today something is ours, and tomorrow it will go into somebody else's hands. There's no point being attached to any of it. None of it. And really, the friends here who perhaps were living in a country where they've experienced persecution, where they had a life of comfort and material wealth, and then overnight, for example, in Iran, there was the Islamic Revolution, and people literally had to leave their house behind, the television behind, the clothes behind, everything, the car behind, just went. And to save their lives and the lives of their children, they had to leave everything behind. And it happened in Ashgabat, it happened in Iran, it's happened all around the world to so many different people. We see war and conflict. And so we can never assume that what belongs to us is going to stay with us for a long time or forever. And that's why the indigenous Australian and the indigenous people all around the world, generally speaking, have this notion of custodianship. The land, the earth doesn't belong to us. We're not, you know, we think we can, because we own a piece of land, we can, you know, pillage the land and extract the minerals or whatever it is. No, we are custodians of anything that's in our lives at the moment, our children, our, you know, possessions. We are looking after it for a period of time and then it's not there anymore.
Can I share a short story?
Yes, please
When
go ahead.
I was younger and I was in the United Kingdom at the early times of the revolution, a lot of Baha'is were coming out because of persecution. And there was a gentleman that had come out, and I was told that this gentleman was a millionaire in Iran, and he had a farm that the fruits that were coming out of that farm was millions of dollars every year. And then when he was there, he was working in a restaurant. He came out without anything, without any money.
Yes, yes, that's
So
a common experience. Yes.
when he came out, he started working in a restaurant of one of the Baha'is, washing dishes. And he told us, this is the best time of my life. Because when I was millionaire, I was angry and stressful all the time. Now I'm happy. I wash the dishes and have a little bit of money to serve myself and the family. And I'm having my best time now. Because he was detached. It wasn't
Wow.
to those
That's
money.
real. That's a real extreme to extreme situation. And he was still able to maintain contentment.
Yeah.
Wow. You've been waiting for some time now. Thank you for your patience, Techno. I'm so sorry. What is your actual name and how do I pronounce it? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Yes, go ahead. Yes, you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, there was having small technical issue. Thank you so much for this, joyous topic. The topic by itself is a joy, and I really want to appreciate how we are learning from it. There was a question posed on how do we derive.
You're breaking up. Maybe just go on audio, Techno. Can you just go on audio so we can hear what you're saying?
Yeah, sorry, I'm using my cell phone, so
Yes.
it was a local call that keep disturbing. But I will just go on audio, which will
Yes.
be good.
Thank you.
Now,
Please go ahead.
I'm trying to establish that we derive true joy according to the Baha'i teaching by fulfilling our spiritual purpose. You
Yes.
know?
Yes.
Yes. And it says that recognizing and fulfilling our spiritual purpose and striving to live a life of service to others, just as we've been learning about that. And how do I get this every time is when I engage into service.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you
When I
explain
engage
for us, expand, you've experienced true joy when you were serving. Please elaborate on that.
Okay. Coming up as a youth in my country, I decided to do the home front pioneering.
Wow.
When, yes, I graduated from the secondary school.
Yes.
So some of the region, the communities I was sent in, the community was not open to the Baha'i faith, and I have to open my home as the Baha'i center.
Wow.
So when the kids come for children class, and being as a youth and almost like a student and sharing the little that I have, because I have to prepare the place, I have to find water. Sometimes you have to go to the extreme of finding something that motivates them because they are coming from school. You want to fulfill your purpose of teaching them.
Yes.
You have to go to the extent of sacrificing for, providing meals at time. If
Yes.
it's 19 rupees, if
Yes.
it's a kind of a, children gathering.
Yes.
So by doing that, when they all leave, it's certain start to reflect on the actions of the day.
Yes.
And
Oh,
it
wow.
becomes an
Yes.
inner,
Good.
yeah, it becomes an inner happiness that comes to you. If you leave your home and serving as a home front pioneer, seeing within 3 months some declarings,
Wow.
it bring more peace to your mind to tell somebody about the revelation of Baha'u'llah, and the person declare, and you want to take that to be more than having a silver and gold into your life.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just want to say that with looking at the different conditions that the world is pushing us into, there are competitions. We want to have the latest cell phone. We want to have the good laptop. We want to have the kind of best home. All of those things are time people go about fulfilling. Sometimes people even leave, like for example, when you look at the 19 March 2025 message.
Oh, yes, of the Universal House of Justice.
House of Justice.
On
the way
family
they talk
life.
about on family life. Today conditions is pushing us that we cannot easily realize how to be with the family. Considering people living in other part of the world, or where there's another schedule of the husband going to work. Sometimes the kids go to daycare and they spend the whole time. There's not much time. But if we come together in the Baha'i community,
We can't hear you.
different.
Yes.
Yes, so I will stop this fight because I'm facing some technical issue. But I just want to really appreciate the topic for the day.
That was
And
beautiful. That was so uplifting. Thank you for sharing your experience. And I just wanted to chant something for you that was on the theme of what you were saying. This is a quote from the Bab, and it is better to guide one soul than to possess all that is on earth. It is better to guide one soul than to possess all that is on earth. So think how many souls you've guided. It is better to guide one soul, just one, than to possess all that is on earth. Thank you for your sharing. That was beautiful. God bless you and protect you. Dear Shukufe, you've been very patient. Please go ahead.
Yes, and thank you. Wow, what happened here? Thank you, Shadi, and thank you, everyone. What I would like to talk about joy is the combination of the three things that was mentioned: the prayer, the service, and the detachment. I think all of them come together. For me, it starts with prayers. You know, the simple things that I learned from my parents from very young. And as I was a child and we were in pioneering, morning and night prayers, it has such an effect on you. We don't understand it, but as Baha'u'llah mentioned, Shadi had a quotation, I'm just paraphrasing, that it brings comfort.
Yes.
Prayer brings comfort. Comfort, one of the meaning of it is that it gives you a sense of being confident and don't get too upset about things that happens around you. So when you have this comfort with prayers, somehow that made me feel that I'm never alone. And this not being alone, and Baha'u'llah, Abdul Baha, and the sacred beings and God is protecting me somehow at different times, different things from childhood. That I can say was the basis of my joy, and then encouraged me to do the next, that was service, and just different ways of service that it adds to the joy. Then, of course, as Ahmad mentioned, there is nowhere in Baha'i writings that say you shouldn't be rich or you shouldn't enjoy life from material things, but enjoy it, have it, share it, and think about it, that if you lose it, it's not the end of the world. As Shadi mentioned, our family had the experience that we have to leave everything behind and come to Australia. At that time, the feeling that I had, I learned through prayers, helped me. And I knew that every step that we are taking with two very young children, it has a purpose. If it's for the good of the world, we will be protected and we will be doing the right things. And of course, you get frightened. Of course, the whole things from a life so different coming to a life that materially doesn't have anything. You realize very quickly that you can be happy and still live with joy, with very little, and then built up from the rest of it. And as everyone mentioned, just it just runs you and push you through getting joy from other sources as well, like service. When I'm talking to someone about the good things or about helping them, the joy that I feel, it stays the whole day with me. It's not just that little time that I talk to that person or I did that. I wanted to just share this and say, even when you feel that love and that comfort, even when you're alone, just by yourself, no one else, you are still happy. You can feel that joy in your heart.
Thank you, Mr. Shukufe. Not naturally, you really have natural talents in teaching. You give the full explanations, and you don't cut in half. You don't cut in half of what people try to say. So I really appreciate your help. Not many people bring benefits to community. You know why? Don't need to be talented to bring benefits, because they just have to have a good heart and pure heart to bring benefits to people. The other notion is if people are getting too poor, they cannot bring benefit to other people. I really love arts and I want to buy arts. Just like I saw a lot of beautiful picture behind you.
Yes.
Painting. So I thought that you like arts very much. And I like arts and I want to buy them. And I appreciate the talented people. And you know, we shouldn't be relied on other people to do the ad for us. We do the ad ourselves. We perform, we tell people, we project ourselves to the unity, to the people so they know about our work, and therefore more benefit to the majority of people, you know, to the mass. Not only a small group of people, but to the mass.
Yes.
So I really appreciate what your full teaching.
Thank you so much. I noticed that dear Vasantha, Mrs. Perry, wrote something in the chat. And then I also want to call on dear Fariba Haydari, who's joining us. It's so lovely to see you. And she is also a very talented artist and designer. And she has a beautiful shop in the Queen Victoria building where she sells her designs. But I just wanted you to just share with us briefly, dear Fariba, your pathways through life and what has brought you inner joy, and whether your decision to serve humanity on the other side of the world is bringing you joy. I'd love to hear your thoughts and perspectives. Please go ahead and share them with us now.
Hello, friend. I'm so sorry. There was a mistake with the time, so I think I arrived quite late. So my apologies. I don't know what has said, but I couldn't be. I know Shadi when she was very young, very, very young, a little adolescent when she left. I remember when she went to Vietnam for a year of service or something
India,
like that.
yes, I ended up going to India.
Oh, you ended up going to India, but I remember when you were so, you know, excited about it. And then, I mean, this is the joy that we start when we are young, and takes us through life. I am now pioneering in Czech Republic, on the other side of the world. And it is wonderful. It's just, you know, just to be able to do this move, you know, and being, it's a privilege. What has taken me in life? I mean, we have been, like many of you, like all of you, in many places and everything. But every place we go, it's new because we met these amazing souls that are just there and waiting. Czech Republic is the #1 atheist country in Europe. So challenges are huge. People have something against religion, especially, and they know there's something there. The ones who believe, but they don't want to hear it. So yeah, so every day is wonderful. The moments we can get and talk about, have these conversations gives us joy. We are currently working with youth, with junior youth, and they are obviously more receptive, we work to them. So every day that we are here, we go out and everything. Every time we remember the Baha'u'llah, every moment is a joy. And I'm blessed that I can work from, that's the nice thing about being in a creative work, is that wherever you go, there is inspiration, and that I am able to work from here, same as if I was in Sydney a year and a half ago. Yeah, I don't know what else I can say, but thank you, Shadi John, for this opportunity to share my story.
Thank you so much. It's such a joy to see you. And we were talking, our topic today was how to find our inner joy. And we're talking about the links in all the world's spiritual traditions and belief systems on common pathways to joy. And what we've identified so far through our lives and our experiences, and also through reading these sacred writings, is that service, prayer and meditation, and detachment are key elements of finding our inner joy. And it was such a amazing thing to see you here from the other side of the world, and to hear your experience. And I'm not sure if you were here when I was chanting the beautiful writings of the Bab, but
Yes.
Yes, you and
yes,
yeah. So it's lovely that you were here, and you're really you were in a very comfortable and easy and very, you didn't need to do anything in Sydney. You could have just kept going and enjoyed your beautiful life, but you've chosen, for the sake of guiding and accompanying and building capacity in other souls in a country that is not your country, but you've chosen to sacrifice so many things and to move to the other side of the world. And that's brought you joy, because you were detached and you're focused on service and you're focused on connecting with spirit. So thank you so much for sharing and living these principles. Wonderful. Ahmad Jun, you have your hand up. Please share.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say hello, Fireball. Nice to see you here. As a lot of people would know, Fireball is related to me and second cousin. But I wanted to comment about something that you shared with us, and it's very relevant to this forum. And that is that when you go in depth in the writings of all different religions, you find the same topic, but said in a different way. So you showed us, all those things about devotion, service, and detachment that are written in all the religions, all the faiths of the world. So these are the common things that we have from all different faiths that we should grab and use them.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think this fact that the religions are all saying the same thing, it should be no surprise to us. The source of all the religions is one. As Baha'u'llah mentions in his teachings, this is the changeless faith of God, eternal in the past, eternal in the future. The Aboriginal belief systems, the revelation of Baha'u'llah, the revelation of Jesus Christ, the revelation of Lord Buddha, the revelation of Krishna, They're saying the same thing in different ways. And by studying them all together on one particular topic, it illuminates different aspects of what detachment means, for example. These core spiritual principles, the essence, the truth of all these religions is there, and it's waiting for us to see. And it's like looking at a multifaceted jewel from a different perspective. It helps us to understand each of the different writings better when we read them with a view for understanding. Thank you so much for raising that excellent point. Would you like to share what's brought you joy, Ahmad, since you're on the screen right now?
Well, I was just wondering whether we should read Vasanta's quote.
Oh, yes. Let's
Please
go
do
into
that.
the chat and let's read.
And maybe invite others that haven't spoken to say
Yes.
something.
Roshin didn't say anything.
Yes. Would you like to read your quote, Mrs. Perry? The inner joy? Yes, please go ahead.
If Ahmed can read it, please.
Yeah, sure. The inner joy that every individual seeks, unlike a passing emotion, is not contingent on outside influences. It is a condition born of certitude and conscious knowledge, fostered by a pure heart, which is able to distinguish between that which has permanence and that which is superficial.
That is from the Universal House of Justice.
Oh, wow.
What detachment, really, the topic of detachment.
It's beautiful. And they even use the word inner joy. Mrs. Perry, you found something. I should have used that quote. I think I'm going to add it later to this presentation. The inner joy that every individual seeks. And I asked you that question at the beginning of the presentation. Do you want to be truly happy? And if the answer is yes, and we have these 3 easy shortcuts in front of us, the inner joy that every individual seeks, unlike a passing emotion, is not contingent on outside influences. So it's there, it's waiting within ourselves. We don't need to chase it, it's already there.
Yeah, Rosine has.
Yes, please go ahead, Rosine. We can't hear you at the moment, Rosine. Yes, please send a message to the chat and I'll share it out because at the moment I can't hear you. So Rosine's going to type her message, but we'll just continue to read until Rosine sends her message.
Colin wants to say something.
Colin wants to say something. Yes, please go ahead, Colin.
You're muted.
You're muted, Colin.
Yeah, I'll give my joy experience, and then I'll just say something about science and joy. When you first asked the question, I thought, okay, that was the joy of Jung and I finding out that we're going to be parents many years ago. But I still remember that. That was extremely joyful. But of course, it came from an external fact. And then years later, the joy of seeing our children being a source of good and kindness to others. But once again, I have to be detached from that, that they were that maximum joy. But in between, the whole process of parenting is about prayer and detachment and service.
Yes.
So maybe that was the kind of deeper kind of joy. And the scientific point I wanted to make is those 3 things, prayer, service, and detachment. If someone wants to test them out, they can, and they can. In the same way as we can learn about the effect of prayer or the existence of a spiritual reality, which is more fundamental than this one, there just has to be tested. So most people would rather just say, would rather do other things. But anyway, I think it's an empirical thing we can test.
Absolutely. And in fact, scientists are testing and have tested the effects of meditation on our physical well-being, on our mental well-being. Meditation has the potential to arrest the symptoms of Alzheimer's. Meditation has the effect of stabilizing blood pressure. Meditation has the effect of helping athletes achieve their personal best. It has so many physical and measurable benefits that one, perhaps, whether one believes in a spiritual reality or not, you can suspend disbelief and have a conversation. Suspend disbelief and go to your favorite spot in nature next to the water or in the forest. That is meditation too. That is connecting with spirit as well. So yes, there's so many opportunities, but there's also so many distractions. And that is why we're seeing epidemics of sadness, of profound experiences of depression and other negative effects, the opposite of joy.
Yeah, but Shadi, if the children want to follow you, like just say you have kids and you want to detach, but the children, they love you so much that they follow you like Sam. You know, they attach to you, they follow you. So how are you going to do detachment? Just like Buddha detached his lady and his children, and he walked away to be a monk. But depends on the lifestyle they conduct. But if the children love them and follow them, and how it's gonna be like detachment? Just like our children, they just follow their dad, you know, like Sam. They're attached. They cannot be separated.
Yes.
Huh?
So then, how lucky then that this concept that's given in this revelation of Baha'u'llah, the concept of work is worship. It's all very well for a working mother to be detached, but what a blessing that God says, you looking after the child that's attached to you is service, is worship, is prayer. And so whatever phase we are in life, there's opportunities for profound joy. And when we have younger children, it is quite a challenge to squeeze in time for regular prayer and meditation. But what an amazing service that mothers give to society. And at the beginning, we had Tracy sharing her profound joy on the birth of her children. That was also going to be my sharing in terms of times that I've experienced profound joy, along with some others. Is there anyone else who I see? Dear
Shukupe, I want to say something.
Yes, please go ahead. And then we can hear from others who haven't said anything yet. Yes, please go ahead.
I just wanted to add, you mentioned about the effect of meditation. The effect of joy and happiness is exactly the same. If you are happy and if you are joyful in within, then it changes your whole life. Abdul Baha even referred to it, that if you are happy, if you are positive, it will affect the healing of your ills. It will affect the way you look at the world. Happiness and joyfulness, as you mentioned at the beginning, is something contagious, but being happy at the same time, it makes other people happy. And if you really detach and you rely on God, then that's the time that healing, relaxation, achievement happens.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And it's also meditation before sleep, or reflection and gratitude before sleep, or prayer before sleep, whichever suits your lifestyle and belief system, can help you to have a really good quality sleep. And we all know how our mood is improved after a good night's sleep. So this is so many tangible benefits from any one of these three sources of profound inner joy. If we pick one and we do it consistently, we'll see that it spreads and the habits can be formed and sustained. Yes, any other thoughts?
Shadi, do you want to read Rosine's message?
Yes, please. Thank you for reminding me. Rosine has written, thank you for this beautiful presentation. The theme, oh, you're so kind. Thank you. I'll read it out, but you're very kind. The theme and the presenter make me happy. I just want to share that we can find joy just by observing the beauty of nature. Yes.
Yes.
So true. The diversity of the world, the beauty of God's creation. And my greatest joy was when I presented the faith in front of several people in a village. Wow, I love that sharing. Thank you so much, dear Rosine. You're such a joyful person. That's the energy that I've always had from you. And thank you for your participation and your amazing insights about the joy of just being in nature and observing the beauty of nature. I think that's why I personally today am in such a joyful mood, is because I experience just that, just observing the beauty of nature in the gardens of the Baha'i House of Worship in Sydney, where there is a plant, a type of flower, a type of grevillea that is so rare, it only grows in 5 spots in the whole world. And one of those spots is in the Baha'i House of Worship in Sydney. And I was just looking at the flower and observing the trees and the wind blowing through the trees, the eucalyptus trees, and the sky was blue. And everyone around was so joyful and peaceful. If we live in the moment and observe the beauty of nature, such a source of profound and lasting joy. Thank you, dear Rosine, for that beautiful sharing.
Just wondering whether Yin or Pam would like to say something, or Sarah.
Tracy has her hand up, and then yes, we would love to hear from Pam and everyone else as well. Please go ahead, Tracy.
I just wanted to say, I bet the grevillea and the gum trees and that garden enjoys all the Baha'i worshippers coming and, not only appreciating them, but, being in that that peace and service mind, that the nature also enjoys that.
Yes, we're all interconnected, aren't we?
There's
all
a
living beings.
It's not just it's not the important aspect is seeing the beauty and admiring it, but also that a rapport can be established, and to appreciate that sometimes a tree or an area, it reveals things and sometimes it hides things. And as we sort of make that rapport and that relationship, it's like when you've got that mindset, the nature there appreciates it. When you go to the garden, I'm not a Baha'i, but I know when I go there and have been there at different times, that those plants and land are happy that it's part of the temple. I just wanted to.
Wow, that's a profound insight. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tracy. And thank you for sharing your experiences with us this evening, and how you felt when you visited the house of worship. And thank you again for, I wanted to emphasize this point that the house of worship is open to everyone. It's a gift to the Australian community. And we often, my dear mother offers voluntary service as a guide. So she's a trained guide, both for the gardens and the house of worship itself. So if anyone has any questions, and we often get, she tells me, buses with children or school children or high school children or seniors come just to visit the grounds for the beauty of the garden or to learn about the animals, the endangered species of animals that live there because of that protected area of nature that, you know, chooses to reveal some beautiful things to anyone that comes. And the architecture, the symbolism of the architecture is also quite significant because it's got 9 doors representing the world's religious traditions. And so all the peoples of all faiths or no faith are welcome to meditate in the grounds or inside the house of worship. Thank you so much for your sharing. That was beautiful. That was very moving.
Thank you, Sadie. I believe the Baha'i Temple is a holy place, a very holy, sacred land.
Yes.
And only the spiritual people, they reach to an advanced level, they could understand the sacred place.
Yes, that concept of a sacred place in many traditions, the Indigenous people of Australia also have the concept of a sacred place and a sacred country. And I just wanted to share with you that apart from the birth of my children, the happiest time of my life was when I was visiting some of these sacred spaces. And I'll very quickly share which spaces they were, and because they're all very different in very different parts of the world. One was in the Sacred Heart of Australia in Uluru, where I could feel this immense power, this spiritual energy radiating from that country. And it was the same feeling, almost tangible weight of feeling on my skin as when I was in the Baha'i House of Worship in Sydney as the sun was setting. And it was the same feeling that I had when I went to, and if you go to Vasanta's image, you see this image of the Shrine of the Bab in the Baha'i World Center. It was exactly the same feeling as I had in the Shrine of the Bab at night when I was praying. And again, exactly the same feeling at the Baha'i House of Worship in India, in New Delhi, as the sun was setting. So those moments of profound inner joy, indescribable in words, were linked by this tangible presence of spirit, of consciousness, of the existence of something beyond the material world. And one of them is in nature and is revered as a sacred place by the indigenous peoples of that area, of that land. And 3 of the others were sacred spaces for Baha'is. But really, whatever is sacred for you, whatever connects you with the divine, can have that amazing ability to suddenly uplift you, to take you to a different place of joy. And the beauty of this is that Baha'u'llah in his writings recognizes this, that nature can be a source of profound joy. There's a beautiful quotation, and if we have time, I might chant it for you now. It's called "Blessed is the Spot," and I'll just very quickly chant it for you. Blessed is the spot, and the house, and the place, and the city, and the heart, and the mountain, and the refuge, and the cave, and the valley, and the land, and the sea, and the island, and the meadow, where mention of God hath been made, and his praise glorified. Wherever we are, in a valley, on an island, in a cave, that can be a sacred space. If wherever mention of God is made, that space is sacred and blessed, even our hearts. Pam, did you want to share something about a time when you were happy, or any other aspect of what we've talked about this evening?
It just it brought to mind the importance of educating our children about the source of joy, the source of happiness, and combining that with our prayers and service. That doing service is not to be good. You do service for the love of God, and you find joy in that. And then with prayer, of course, you have the obligatory prayers, which are a wonderful way to learn detachment if you immerse yourself in those prayers. And what a privilege it is to have that provided for us in all of the world's religions. This importance of concentrating in prayer and concentrating on God. So thank you very much for your presentation. It was greatly appreciated.
Thank you, and thank you for your sharing. It brought to mind a passage from one of the beautiful daily prayers that Baha'u'llah has revealed. There's one that is called the long obligatory prayer, and one passage of it really for me is about detachment from our desire and aligning ourselves with our divine purpose. Yeah, thank you so much. And it goes a little bit like this: look not upon me, look not upon my hopes and my doings, nay, rather look upon thy will that has encompassed the heavens and the earth. By thy most great name, I have desired only what thou didst desire, and love only what thou dost love.
We got Ian and Sarah and Jiva. If they have anything like to comment or say, please do so. We have gone overboard with time, but that's okay. This is a very nice topic to talk about. Ian.
Yes, I'll say it's short and sweet. I have no problem with the first two, with prayer and service, but I think the art of detachment I have to learn a lot. That's why I think this is the big thing for me. I have to really, detachment is a big thing for me. It's not easy. That's it. Finished.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that's a common response. I certainly feel the same way. Thank you for sharing that. I'd love to hear from dear Jiva, any time in your life that you have been happy. I would love to hear a story. Could be from your childhood or any other time in your life when you were happy.
Thank you very much. And the happiness is actually what I'm doing daily is trying to help someone who need it.
Yes.
Any form of assistance they are requesting me, I will do it. As a volunteer, I am doing at the hospital for 13 years, but other side, the community people, sometimes they will come and ask me, I will do it again. That's a service.
Wonderful.
Jiva, if you don't mind, I will share something which your brother used to tell me what happened when you were small. Once in your school, you had to write an essay about something that made you happy. And you wrote an essay that there was a beggar and you were able to give him some money or something. And when you came and told that at home, your father was very angry with you. You didn't have anything else to write. And your brother Perry said that he had to argue with his father. What he wrote is what made him happy. Why are you shouting at him? So,
Wow.
can you remember that, Jiva?
Yes, I do remember. Yes, I do.
Yeah, Anna. This is my husband's brother, Jiva. So then Perry said that he had a big argument with his father that what he writes is what that makes him happy. You don't have to tell him. If he was so happy about it, there is no harm. So.
Wonderful. God bless Mr. Perry's soul.
And thank you, dear Jiva, for that sharing. I can see how insightful you were, spiritually insightful, even from an early age, and such a tender and compassionate heart that you have, that the source of joy from an early age, you grasp this concept. Some people, it takes them a lifetime to grasp this concept. You grasped it from childhood and you just continued your whole life. That's amazing. That's a really inspirational story. And 13 years of service, voluntary service to people in a hospital, that must be an amazing experience. I'm so grateful that you were able to be here this evening and share your experiences. That's really inspirational. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Vasanta, also.
Yes.
Sadie, we just want to continue to pray to God. Keep sending you the brightness for your work and the glory to your work. Gonna be well known all among the nations. Your names could be heard on all sides and all nations.
Thank you. You're very kind, dear Young. I would love to continue the conversation with you at another time about art and your appreciation for beauty of art. That's so kind of you. You're always very kind. Is there, I'm not sure if Sarah is with the baby, but she has
Yes.
recently experienced a beautiful life event on the birth of her first child. I wonder if you're able to, she's also experienced the joy of service, and she's served in various capacities all around the world. I wonder if she is able to just briefly say something this evening.
Oh, he's enjoying the baby.
She's enjoying the baby.
Yeah, he's refusing to sleep, so we're just both sitting in the dark. I think for me, you know, spiritual joy doesn't always mean that you're happy.
No, yes.
I think, yeah, and I think there's something about spiritual joy for me that is very much linked to trusting in God.
Yes.
And yeah, so I think that's where I would draw spiritual strength from. And I think that spiritual strength will help me through any hard time to try and be joyous, if that makes sense.
Oh, wow. That was very profound, that sharing. Yes. It doesn't mean just this a surface emotion of being happy. We can experience deep pain and suffering and come out through that valley of deep pain and suffering into spiritual happiness, into spiritual growth through trusting God. Thank you so much for sharing that, dear Sarah. I know that the cycles of life, the joys and sadnesses of life have touched your life, and you've come through it with grace. And I also think of you as a very joyful person. You're always radiating positive energy.
I used to think of myself that way too at once upon a time. It's fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your sharing. Is there any final remarks? Has anyone not had an opportunity to share, or any stories from your life, your childhood that you'd like to share? If not, we can.
Yeah. Well, it's getting to 9 o'clock, and
Yes.
we've done more than what we normally go.
Okay.
I'd like to thank Shadi for presenting her talk. It was a very important talk. These three topics are very important in every human life. So devotion, service, and detachment from material things are so important in everyone's life. And I think your talk was very emotional for us, from my point of my respect. And I think you brought all these different enlightenments about these three topics, and especially about various quotations from various religions that give us the same kind of concept.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you again, and I hope